In this era of disruption, digital is a reality of our life. You got to read more.
The telehealth services, so for the patients to be connected to doctors, Owen Kementerian Kesihatan, for the doctors to then consult and offer a referral for the patient to perform a test if required.
You know, so if you had that level of trust already with your team members, then it's easier for you to say, okay, now that I can't see you on a daily basis, how do we then operate?
These are the actual challenges of adopting cloud. It's not about the trust anymore. It's about our infrastructure, our connectivity. Are they stable and fast enough to support the business and also the consumers to continue to adopt more cloud services?
Talented individuals with in-demand skill in any sector now realize that they can live, they choose and work where they qualify. And talent is the new global currency.
Hello and welcome to Top in Tech. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have an hour discussion. Today we're talking about pathways to advanced technology. We're discussing about how Malaysia can transit from a low-touch, high-tech economy during this difficult time. What do we need to do to move into a high-tech economy? COVID has, we have looked on COVID, and we see how local tech companies need to further innovate themselves to adapt. Recently, the National Technology Innovation Sandbox program was launched to accelerate the startup ecosystem to be more demand-driven and to progress with the aim to develop social economic impact in Malaysia. Today, we're going to be discussing our aims to highlight the opportunities and challenges in moving towards a pathway to advanced technology. And thanks so much. This episode is sponsored by OFO Tech and also supported by Magic. So thanks so much for sponsoring this episode. And I will hand you over to our ever-capable moderator, Karamjit Singh from Digital News Asia. Over to you, Karamjit.
Thank you, Prem. Thank you. Excited to get this panel kickstarted. And for the audience, thank you for the privilege of your time. And we look forward to your questions also. Questions are very important to us. And we want to thank all of you who have already pre-sent questions ahead of time. And actually, what's unique about this show also that we have, actually the panelists have picked some of the questions that you have sent, to us. So they will answer those questions because obviously the questions come from people who have a deep desire to understand something better. And we're going to do that. And we've got three panelists. So one panelist is coming from the government point of view and to show that the government also is playing its part to help entrepreneurs out there to advance, their journey, smoothen their journey to adopting advanced technology. And we've got one company which is in the drone space. And for those of you who know, the world's second-ranked drone services company is actually born out of Kuala Lumpur. It's in Cyberjaya now. But because we've got a global leader in the drone ecosystem, a lot of other players are aspiring to match them or even be better than them. So it has raised the bar very high. And there you've got one of these companies here now today, OFO Tech, right, to talk about what they're doing. And trust me, many of our drone companies are world-class, including OFO Tech. And then on the third panelist, who ironically is actually going to go speak first, but is Dato Ganes, who has spoken before. You would have seen him in the introduction video also. It seems that we can't keep Dato Ganes, so he always wants to appear on this segment, right, Top in Tech. But Sri Ganesh is coming from the talent viewpoint as to what we need to do with getting our talent on par so that it can play, and all of us can play a role to making Malaysia an advanced economy. So with that now, I'm going to have Dato Sri Ganesh to come on, and he's going to have 3 minutes to share his take on this topic, and then we're going to move then to the next speaker, which is from Magic, our Safuan Zairi, and then we're going to follow up with Amsyar from OFO Tech. So let's get Dato Sri Ganesh on.
Hi, greetings. My contributions are focused in 4 core areas in the digital economy, which is the IIoT, drone technology, customer experience, and data analytics. My foundation lies in TVET, as you all know, and our services encompasses of broader preparation for students developing academic and technical and providing solutions from enrollment to employment. Now, as traditional skills are yet to supplanted, yet require reinforcement, I'm working to enhance our national workforce with skill sets that future-proof them. And in terms of drone technology, I'm spearheading an initiative to create talents ranging from drone field application to drone data services. And when it comes to TVET, I'm working to ensure our technical workforce is armed with the right combination of skill sets that increase their relevance tomorrow. Now let's come to the NTIS itself, the National Technology Innovation Sandbox. The program out to accelerate to be more demand-driven and progressive to develop the social economy impact. That brings to what the talent or skills required and required in the industry today. I would say machine learning, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, robotics, nanotechnology. It's I'm bringing up these main ones because this is based on the sandbox development initiatives that have been taken in place, which I've been working on. I would like to share one of the screen here to elaborate further the current scenario of workforce in Malaysia.
Okay.
Yes. I believe that you all can see my screen. Yep. I call this TVET for digital transformation. Focus on these three pillars, three areas here. The first tier, second tier, and the third tier. I would say the first tier from the bottom are skilled workers. Okay. Then the second tier will be system integrators, managers, and then we go for engineer and leaders, right? The reality now is, you see, I understand that we require these digital skills for the digital economy, which is IIoT, AI, augmented reality, drone technology, data analytics, and customer experience. But we must understand that we are flooded by more than 1 million skilled workers at the bottom layer, the first tier itself. Okay. Right? Now, these are entry-level skills. That means they are skilled in some relevant verticals and so on, but they are not into digital economy yet. All right? They are on their own. Then we have the system integrators or managers, which they are already into the industry relevant skills. All right, that means they've been performing in the industry, manufacturing, services sectors. Then we have the leaders, engineers who are driving this digital economy talents and the vertical and so on, which is for now, if you take into NTIS, we are looking into system integrators, managers, engineers, and leaders are driving these NTIS initiatives, not the bottom level. Okay. Right? Now, I feel based on this current scenario in Malaysia, all right, we should drive the TVET skilled people towards from the first tier to the second tier. That should be the initiative. Why? Because they've already have the entry-level skills, right? Effort can be put into them so that they can move up to that required skills and they can go into the system faster as per needed in the NTIS itself. With the advancement of technology and the talent needed in the industry, I think these are the right people to move in. But when you start creating new articulation, new workforce, all right, you are actually doing, it's a redundant effort, a redundant initiative. You spend a lot of money building people from the bottom. You know? So that you can work it out for the distant future requirements. For immediate future requirements, you need to upskill the current graduates and also the skilled workers. And there's another important point here. As for the graduates, they don't like to go to the bottom layer, the first tier. They always want to go to become the system integrators, managers, or leaders because they're graduates from the university, you see. So you have to look into upskilling them into various verticals, and it has to be micro credential programs where the intervention should be fast according to industry need. It shouldn't go on an academic articulation, right? It should be a big fast results kind of thing. We call it BFR, you know, where you go into the market fast, right? So this can assist in terms of the development of the NTIS itself. Otherwise, the scenario would be we have concepts, we have technology in place, but we cannot drive it because we don't have the talent, right? And when we don't have the talent, out of desperation, we require foreign migrant workers to come in, or foreign skilled workers to come in to help us on that. So that defeats the purpose again. All right, we don't want to be technology consumers. We need to be developing. We need to be innovators and
producers.
That is what I'm advocating all the while. So I think it is pretty much straightforward. What we have at the base at the moment, we just have to upskill them to the second tier and the third tier itself. Yeah.
But so Sri Ganesh, you were saying that there's 1 million people at the skill level entry, right? And then you've got at the second level. You said that should be the immediate focus, is it? Those people already in the workforce, right? To upskill them and the graduates coming out, because they've got probably higher level of skill. How many people are in this tier? I just want to, I may be putting you in a spot, but do you have a rough idea of how many people are in this tier?
Okay, for the SKM graduates, I told you that we have about 1 million of them.
Yep.
Right. For the skilled, for the graduates from the university, we are looking about every year about 80,000 people are coming out.
89,000. Okay. But then you add on the existing workforce, that becomes much larger, because you say it's quicker to move those in the existing workforce and graduates to upskill them, right?
No, my take was not the existing workforce. My take was those who already skilled people in the bottom layer, easier to move out them to digital economy, right?
Okay.
At least they are fresh, skilled people who are in the industry now, about SKM graduates and so on. Same goes to degree holders and those who come out from public university and whatnot. But it adds up to another burden where we have retrenched workers as well, right? But the retrenched workers, we can move them up to become the leaders, right? By creating a pathway for them. But we shouldn't be starting something from scratch, by trying to create. That is good to work on a distant future,
longer term lah. Yeah, understand.
Longer term, but it's not relevant right now.
Okay, fine. So you say because there's a need, that's why you call it BFR, right? Big fast results. So there's an urgency to have talent ready now, because actually there are a lot of jobs available now if you have the right skills, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. Okay, are you done, Sri Ganesh?
I've concluded. Yeah.
Okay, great. So what we'll do now is, because you talked about the NTIS, which is National Technology Innovation Sandbox, we will get now Safuan Zairi from Magic to join us so that he can explain, what the government is doing, in the overall context of NTIS, which fits in with our topic of, pathway, right? Accelerating advanced technology. Safuan, not the stage, but the screen is yours.
Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon, everyone. So Safuan here from Magic. Just a quick introduction. I'm the Senior Vice President for Magic and also the lead for National Technology Innovation Sandbox, which is a program by MOSTI. I also wanted to do a quick shout out. Thank you to DNA, Malaysia Kini, and also to Scale Up Malaysia, Internet Alliance, and also to Ofotech, for inviting me here today. But before I proceed, I wanted to have a quick poll, and I would like to invite the audience here. If you really appreciate your response, they will run a quick poll. You just click the one that you feel relevant, and while you're deciding, I also put together a video, which is just a quick video just to give you a context of when we talk about high technology and low touch economy, right? So it gives you an understanding of what that means, and also it gives you an idea of what happens in the National Technology Innovation Sandbox as well. So if I can have the video run, please.
Kita melangkah ke dekad baru 2020 dengan impian negara berstatus maju. Namun realiti menjelma tidak terduga. COVID-19 menyebabkan perubahan yang tidak pernah kita alami. Gangguan cara kita bekerja mahupun kehidupan seharian mewujudkan norma baru yang akan terus berkekalan. Di sebalik pandemik, munculnya peluang. Peralihan yang pada mulanya berlaku secara beransur-ansur kini menjadi lebih pantas. Teknologi kini suatu keperluan. Dalam kita menyesuaikan diri di ekonomi sentuhan rendah, teknologi tinggi. bakat-bakat tempatan menyinar terang bersama membantu negara mengatasi cabaran. Inovasi tempatan kini merentas sempadan, mengangkat nama negara Malaysia, negara berinovasi. Penjarakan fizikal merapatkan kita. Kesejahteraan terbina menjamin hubungan yang berkekalan. Ekonomi sentuhan rendah, teknologi tinggi, membawa rakyat Malaysia maju ke hadapan. Penggunaan inovasi menghasilkan ekonomi bernilai tinggi. Teknologi tempatan, kebanggaan Malaysia. Masa depan sudah tiba. Impian anda, masa depan bersama.
All right. So I think the short video gives you an understanding when we talk about high technology and low touch economy, yeah, and the work that we are doing at the National Technology Innovation Sandbox. So it's a long term. So just call it Sandbox. So Sandbox is a program by MOSTI, yeah. So it is part of it's already captured in our Dasar Science Technology Innovation Negara, yeah, Inovasi Negara. And in the DSTN as well, you'll see that we have this 10x10 framework, which matches technology as well as socio-economic drivers. So it gives, we're not just in love with technology for the sake of technology, but it has to there has to be a purpose. So the purpose is socio-economic drivers. When we talk about using technology to address agriculture, using technology to address healthcare, education. So it's really something that I invite audience to download and go to the internet and download the ASM, Academy Science Malaysia 10x10. It'll really help you understand in terms of how we do what we do, just give a quick introduction in terms of the Sandbox. We started operation in July. We started receiving application. We have about 2,000 plus application to date.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. So we didn't rest. Not the weekends. I can tell you that we've really worked hard since last year. We've processed and of the 2,000 plus, 400 got through. 100 have been presented, and about 50% of those are already receiving grants from MTDC. Yeah, so I do have to say thank you as well to TPM, to MIMOS, to Futurize, MTDC for helping us. I can say that we're processing record time. Previously, if you talk about 12 to 24 months of processing time, we really brought it down to maybe a maximum of 3 to 4 months. Yeah,
brilliant.
MTDC for doing this. So I don't know, this is just an introduction. We can have a lot more conversation about this, Karam. But if you have any question, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I will get. I will just bring in Amsyar, Faiz first, right? To share OFO's opening 3 minutes first, and then we'll get to the questions and all. Yeah, thanks a lot, Safuan. So let's get Amsyar Faiz from OFO Tech to share the screen with me.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Hi, Amsyar.
Hi.
Okay, so bro, Amsyar, the stage is yours. So please introduce yourself and the service you guys do. Within the context of pathway to advanced technology.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Prem, Mr. Karam, Dato Sri, and Mr. Safuan. And hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Amsyar Faiz, Business Development Director for OFO Tech. So for my part, I will be covering more on the private tech sector involvement for the NTIS, or the National Technology Innovation Sandbox. But before that, I would like to quickly furnish our dear viewers with some essential information on our company background. So if I may share the screen for a while. So for those of you who do not know, our company, we are OFO Tech. So we are essentially a multi-award winning technology innovation company and a leading drone service provider in Malaysia and in the region. So basically, we specialize in project monitoring and various asset management services, among others, for our various clientele. So the technology that we offer, the solution, is the combination of various key high-impact technology platforms, inclusive of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, augmented reality, drones, and even industrial IoT technologies. So the combination of which we try to offer robust end-to-end systems for clients of various sectors. So one important thing to note is that the beauty of our system is that it's applicable to various modern sectors. So it's not necessarily limited to one particular industry. It can be scaled. I'm pretty sure you know a lot about this, Mr. Karam, since you have interviewed us many times before.
Yes,
But of course, the sectors that are applicable include, but not limited to, the construction industry, infrastructure, agriculture, plantation, oil and gas, mining, telecommunications, or even border and security. In fact, even as we speak, there are steadily new use cases being developed for the implementation of such new solutions for new sectors. So the benefits that can be derived thereof is increasing productivity, decreasing cost, and also eliminating the human risk factor. So as mentioned, the technology platforms, artificial intelligence, AI, this is actually moving forward to our current trend is that we are moving into a paradigm shift where the worldwide, we are seeing a change where technology and innovation is increasingly shaping or influencing the future that is about to come. In fact, if I may make a reference, for the 2 or 3 months during the first crisis of the pandemic, there has been 3 years worth of digitalization taking place in various sectors worldwide. So this just shows further precipitating the low touch or high economy trend that we are trying.
That's quite stunning, man. In the first 3 months, right, it has advanced technology adoption by what you're saying, 3 years.
Correct. As we are all familiar, we are using, I mean, in terms of meetings, now we have to make use of Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, or even these delivery systems, delivery services, or in terms of shopping commerce, which is just booming ever since the pandemic and the lockdown policy that has occurred thereof. But of course, in Malaysia,
Amsyar, just a quick second, because look, this screen you're presenting is very impressive. You've got all the key technology platforms there, right? AI, data, AI, IoT, drone, and augmented reality, virtual reality. And picking up on what Dato Sri Ganes said, that we want to be a nation that creates technology, not just uses technology. Can you just share with readers that are you licensing technology from other parties and you embed this into your solution suite, or all these are homegrown, home developed?
The good thing about Malaysia is that despite it being a small market, we are actually home to international, prominent, world-renowned drone players. And what makes us proud is actually that the system is in-house developed in the sense that we are not really relying on third-party softwares in order for us to develop the system, both software and hardware. In fact, and in fact, the government and all other stakeholders, they are doing us proud in terms of supporting the local companies in developing such systems. Of course, we're talking about mostly MDEC and also even MITI, MIDA and MATRID, various forms of grants, soft loans, and also other incentives, so that SMEs, which are the backbone of the country, actually go for the automation and digitalization trend.
Yes.
And in Malaysia, of course, we are also moving in towards that. We are gravitating towards that trajectory as well. The NTIS, as Mr. Safuan has neatly summarized, serves as that platform, a multi-collaborative effort for all stakeholders to lock our heads together and make this thing actually happen. So just if I may update our viewers, just a little bit of our work progress for NTIS. So mainly we are focusing on agriculture, plantation, and infrastructure sectors. By which the former for agriculture, we are working with FELDA, or the Federal Land Development Authority. So we are attempting to introduce smart farming and analytics in their conventional operations, introducing IoT, AI, and spectral imaging technologies in order for us to increase productivity, reduce intensive labor, while also increasing yield output. So as a result, we can actually improve the livelihood of the peneroka. And of course, others for infrastructure, as we know, Malaysia, our infrastructure, we are nearing the maturity age. So it's about time that we have to keep our assets, national assets such as roads and highways intact. So what we want to do is we want to introduce automation and digitalization in the operation process. So what we want to do is actually monitor asset damages, automate the process to detect surface cracks, potholes, water ponding, or even guardrail damages, in an automated manner using technologies such as computer vision and GIS, Geographic Information Systems. So potential.
Okay, if I can just intercede quickly, because I think many of us are aware that there was a recent sinkhole, right? Not a big one that developed in Bangsa, and I think that was shared quite widely on social media. Are you saying that if we use such technology with computer vision and GIS, could such a system have alerted in advance the DBKL in this case, right? That there's a strong possibility of a sinkhole appearing, or we're not at that level yet?
Correct. The key word is early detection system.
Yep.
So data is the key, the most where value is derived. So upon collecting a lot of data, we can conduct predictive analytics using various sensors such as IoT devices,
Yep.
AI, and having gathered all the information, aggregating it, we can actually predict where potential potholes are going to occur, the dimension of which potholes or sinkholes need to be repaired first before the situation gravitates and the cost actually increases. So definitely, I would like to inform the viewers that the technology is actually out there. It's just a matter of synchronizing everything together, the resources, the brain power, and also the technology, not relying on international expertise, but fully focusing on our domestic capabilities. And the NTIS, fortunate to say, is actually that good platform, because with this, we can actually go and invite other major players such as Felda or potentially KDEB, Waste Management, for us to actually integrate, optimize their garbage trucks, having our smart cameras actually do the function, because garbage trucks are the only forms of vehicles, think about it, that covers all forms of roads, small roads, skip roads, thick roads, long roads, short roads, even buses and trucks, even buses or taxis, they don't necessarily cover the small vehicles. But for garbage trucks, that's one potential partner or optimization effort that we would like to use to create innovation and technology. But of course, sir, I would like to talk more in depth, but I would like to invite our two other panelists so we can articulate this even further in a more in-depth discussion. But of course, by the way, there's a quick poll that I would like to, just to see our audience where they are in terms of their mind on this particular issue. So if I may have it verbally read out loud, how important do you think technology will be in the future for businesses? So not important, moderate, important, and very important. So this would be enough for me to actually get a better picture of how the majority of Malaysia actually stands on this matter. So I hand it to you, sir.
All right, very good. Thanks a lot. Very interesting. I mean, even Dato Sri Ganes and you both have talked about the NTIS and how it's playing a role also. That's kind of interesting. So what we'll do is we'll have all three of the panelists now, to share the screen with me. And for listeners out there, I'm going to start with one question for all three of them. And then we're going to start taking questions that have already been sent. And the panelists will also be looking at some of the questions you spontaneously pose to them now, and they'll decide whether they want to answer those questions or not, okay? So thank you very much. So what I'm going to do now is, and Dato Sri Ganesh, I'll start with you. So the question is the same for all of you, right? So within the context of your expertise and the services and your experience, right, and the services that your organization is offering, what do you think is this pathway to advanced technology? And obviously for Malaysia, I don't have to say that because we're all Malaysian. I think, although there's one question earlier from somebody from a Singapore outfit, but we'll come to that later.
Okay, the pathway to advanced technology is first, I think, on the basic understanding of the pain points. You see, all of us are excited with this buzzword of technology, IR4 and so on. We're jumping into it. One will advocate, say that they're talking about AI and machine learning and so on, right? But we all know that, most of us at least, that you need a lot of data to actually crunch towards machine learning and AI, right? Okay. So this is something that required in the distant future, right? So we jump into a technology, we embark in certain initiatives and so on, but we need to understand whether are we solving anybody's problem, right? Like what OFO did just now, they're using garbage truck as one of the medium to get their information and so on, and they're solving a problem in the market today, a simple problem, instead of talking something which should not exist or not relevant to our Malaysian market. Same goes to NTIS. You know, people proposing solutions which are useful either within the region or in Malaysia at an immediate solution. So when it comes to talent development, I would say that I would concur with people who are in same view that I want to talk about the immediate future skills that are required in the market today, right? And then later we work on articulation towards distant future requirements, right? Do not mix up both. An academic pathway should be created so that our talent will be sustainable in the future, like another 3 or 4 years time. All right. But what we require right now is to understand the pain points or the problem statements of the industry today and go into it. I'm sure that the government agencies will look into that direction as well. Coming out or supporting an initiative which you think is not practical enough will waste a lot of people's taxpayers' money. We have to be very practical when coming out with a solution. I understand we need to be ambitious, but we have to be also relevant in the industry today because we are answerable to the public. I think the good job that Safuan team and they all are doing, the processing the various applications.
Submissions, yeah.
But with that technology in place, I think we can complement in terms of building talents which are relevant to those the problem statements, and we need to create those people who are relevant at the current moment, and it has to be for immediate future requirements. You know, let's not talk about distant future requirements and mix up everything here. All right. So I think academic pathway should be very clear for distant future talent requirements, and immediate intervention required, which you need to have the Ministry of Human Resources, Education Ministry, the Youth Sports Ministry to come in to formulate articulation for the current workforce, which they can have a leap towards creating talents for the required industry at the moment. Yeah, that's my take.
Okay, interesting, Sri Ganes. I think earlier you were also mentioning something about micro-credentials, and because of lockdown, actually over the weekend, I had a virtual teh tarik session with a family friend, him and the wife, and me and my wife. So that's, come on, nobody laughed at you. Hey, this is gila, what, right? It's the normal thing now, right? You want to stay safe, you want to be responsible, and it felt a bit strange to us, but we've done it before. So this virtual teh tarik, and then the friend's wife, who's just past 50 years old, is a middle-level manager, right? And salary is about between 5,500 to 8,500. And she was saying that she's looking to change jobs, and she's on the database of a headhunting agency that specializes in mid-tier jobs, right? And she was complaining that all the jobs, and there's a lot of jobs available, and she said all the jobs require some kind of digital skill set, for you now. Even and they don't care about your age, right? But you must have those digital skill set. And she was complaining that she has to. It's not that she won't do it. She said, I need to learn something to make myself relevant if I want to move to another job, because there are a lot of jobs available, but all need a particular skill set. And me being in the tech space, I said, please take up a short course. I didn't use the word micro-credential. I said, take up a short course in analytics, which I'm very big on, right? It can be a 2-week course to introduce you, or a 1-month course or whatever. Get familiar with the lingo, the language of analytics, so it doesn't intimidate you. And it's interesting, you're using micro-credential, but quickly, Sri Ganes, for the readers who may not be familiar, the readers, because DNA always writes articles, right? But for the viewers, micro-credentials is what length? Can you tell them? Okay,
I mean, you have narrated well. Micro credentials itself, it's I would say the skills that are relevant for that a particular industry. All right, it's a quick intervention program, lah. All right, you see, learning is different, mastering is something else. Micro credential is about learning and also mastering the skills as well. And it goes back. You see, micro credentials carries a certain I would say a segment. All right, where you learn, and then you probably collect the badges, and you can come in and complete a certain program as whole, and you get a diploma or nitro degree and so on. Okay, that's on your academic pathway. For micro credential itself, can be a 2 weeks program, can be a 1 week program, can be a 3 days or 5 days program.
Wow.
Based on your mastery level. All right. Okay. So normally in Germany they have this Meister craftsmanship and so on that requires maybe 3 years to 4 years for you to master the craft.
Craftsman,
right?
Yes.
But this one, they have segmented it in a way that they segmentize this according to the industry. For instance, you want to learn something on cloud server, all right, and you have you are from IT background, you quickly go and embark on that program, you get your micro credential. From the micro credential, when you display your badge, right, we will know that what modules you actually covered and how long do you take to cover those, and who were your trainers as well, and where did you get your program. So some or other, it's like a foundation level for blockchain to actually authenticate your skills, whether you really got the skills or it's just a paper skill that you're saying, claiming that you can do that. So it's actually a requirement with all the academic institutions as well to have micro credentials to track.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. You mean academic institutions now make it a requirement? Huh?
It is not a requirement. I would say in order to remain competitive, they should have the micro credentials.
Oh, they should. Okay. But I think as an employer also, so Ganes, what's interesting is that if you're looking for someone and all you have is your previous experience, you graduated, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or even 3 years ago, right? And now you're looking for another job versus somebody who's coming as 5 years ago as a diploma degree, but maybe he or she then took 2 or 3 micro credentials. As an employer, you are probably saying, this person is hungry, right, to upskill themselves, right, to acquire knowledge. I maybe want to spend time interviewing him or her. So that this kind of micro credential also send a signal to the prospective employer, right?
Agree. You see, not only that, at the first level, I understand the candidate. Okay, I'm like what you said, that I zoom into that candidate's resume and I want to have a talk. But it also gives me the updated skills of that particular employee. I can zoom into it, and there's an expiry date as well. For instance, you have different versions of Microsoft. Forget about Microsoft. We have a different version of a lot of applications out there, and these get updated, right? So you cannot come in and say, for instance, I'm a database expert, right? Instead of that, you need to be current lingo expert or current expert in certain skills. All right.
Sorry. Okay, I think that's enough. We can go on and on, but I think the point here is that the pathway to advanced technology is also that us as individuals have to have this desire to want to keep improving, and really, it's a matter of cari makan now, because a lot of companies now demand this. Now let's move on to Safuan. I think he's itching to share about the role that the NTIS can play. And Safuan, before you used you've got over 2,000 submissions. Now, what kind of organizations are submitting what, so that the viewers have an idea of what's going on, right? If you can share one example, and you can anonymize it, right? So and then how does the NTIS, your sandbox, help?
Okay, thanks, Karam. I think let me try and frame the question before addressing the question that you have, Karam.
Okay.
So in terms of, we're looking at the National Technology Innovation Sandbox, right? Look at it as it is trying to the why, the how, and the what. Yeah, I think this is really critical. Sometimes we get lost in terms of who are we doing this for, why are we doing this for. So I think it's important for the audience and listening in today in terms of to understand a bit. So why we're doing this, we want to address our nation's grand challenges. Yeah, I think this is again, as mentioned earlier, also we're not developing technology for the sake of technology. We're not pursuing innovation for the sake of innovation. It's about addressing that nation's grand challenges. And how do we want to do it? By unleashing innovation, by the use of latest technology. I think I emphasize here about latest technology as well, because there's a lot of technology out there, but we're not talking about Me Too technology. We're not talking about just pouring somebody's idea and localizing it. But also at the same time, we want to help accelerate the commercialization of those technology solutions. And how? It's via the structured sandbox program. Okay. So I think it's important to be framed in that way so that people understand the why, the how, and the who and the what. And also you mentioned about a company that has gone through NTIS. So I think Amsyar's slide earlier is a dead giveaway, right? So we're working with Amsyar. Amsyar and OFOTech is one of the 5 companies that we work with, and that has been inducted into the Felda Sandbox, which is in Bentong. Felda Estate Mempaga 1 and 3. It's a really interesting case study happening. It's not just talking about plantation management. We are also talking about how do we help develop digital community. Yeah, okay. How do we deal about in terms of cashless community, and I think this gives an opportunity for us to unleash all the innovation, creativity that we have from the startups, local startups. We're talking about local startups here. I think we've got plenty of innovative local startups, local tech startups that we can work with, but it's just that they are not seen. So one of the things that we help do is, via our program, of course, if it's not seen, you're not heard, and suddenly I say to you, Karam, use this product. I say like, why? Yeah. So what we help is that we go through that stages. Remember, as mentioned earlier, the various applications that we have, we go through a filtering or selection committee. Yeah. We look at the solution and product from a technology aspect first. Yeah. We're using a technology readiness level, which is pioneered by NASA. We want for NTIS, we're looking at TRL 6, which means you already have a prototype. And what we do is that we then put it through a series of discussion and then panel discussion, and then we see whether or not, okay, are they requesting for any funding? So if they made it past the technology readiness level, and then we pass it, we work with MTDC to help get them funding. So what you as a client, as a customer, if a company like OFOTech comes to you and say, okay, come use me in my solution, right? I'm already past the TRL level 6 by NTIS. I've already gotten funding from MTDC. So, 2 risks down. I mitigated some of the risks. I boost the visibility of the company. And I think by that, we are taking that fear of working with our local innovators, okay, our tech startups, our new startups, yeah, and really give them the chance of really pushing their solution and product, not just locally, regionally, but also globally.
So I think it's a very key point. One point you raised, you're using a template developed by NASA to assess the technology or the solution built by the local companies, right? So that's very good, because that adds to the credibility of your technology assessment part. So, that's really smart. Yeah, and no need to reinvent the wheel, right? Okay,
yeah, precisely. Good. But one thing I want to highlight is that this is not new. TRL has been around for some time, but technology is very dynamic. So whilst we're taking that as a reference point, yeah, but we're also working with Academy Science Malaysia with the 10x10 framework. We're also working with universities, academias, industries to see what are the latest technology, what are the latest innovation, and also what can be used to tackle our national grand challenges.
Okay, cool. Interesting. All right. What we'll do is now we'll bring on, I think Amsyar is here. So Amsyar, do you want to talk about the question that I'm asking to all three of you? And then I noticed some very interesting questions that have come live, but I got to focus on what you all are saying. So I leave it to you whether you want to answer those. In the meantime, Amsyar, do you want to share within the context of what you are doing and the experience of OFO, right? What is the pathway to our advanced technology?
Sure, yeah, thank you very much. I actually like to echo Mr. Safuan. That's indeed a terrific point. The barrier, the technology, a good idea is a dime a dozen, actually, but to actually commercialize the idea, that's where the challenge actually lies. And the nice thing about NTIS is that it gives us, the local innovators, an opportunity, green lane access to actually validate the technology that we are forefronting. And as Mr. Safuan mentioned, that there is a TRL level pioneered by NASA all the way to TRL 9. TRL 9 is already commercialized. TRL 6 is already at prototype stage. However, TRL 1 and 2 is still it's still open for application. They can still apply. No one's there to stop them. However, for them, it's actually to actually give them an idea where their technology is. How Mr. Dato Ganes has actually mentioned, it's about the practicality of that solution. We want to move away from any academic-oriented technology rather than short sendiri. We want to see actually what is applicable in the market. And the NTIS actually is a filter for us to actually self-reflect on how the technology is actually going to be viable when it actually hits the market, so to speak. So for OFOTech in particular and all the other companies that are participating, I believe that the NTIS is seriously something that should have started long time ago. So in that sense, yes, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, that's fine. So I mean, for the listeners, listeners, viewers, same viewers and listeners are the same because there's no video on Amsyar, so I'm saying listeners. But so this conversation is just live and unscripted. So the sense that it's the other two panelists are talking about the sandbox quite a bit also tells me that the sandbox seems to be doing its job. They're excited about it. They see value in it, and of course, Amsyar is a company that is a beneficiary of it now. But there are a lot of companies that have gone through it, and they're still assessing some. So if you're still not clear of what the NTIS is, go to the Magic website, or I think you type in National Technology Innovation Sandbox, you can see more, and then you can find out more and educate yourself and how you can play a part in that also. But I just want to move on to some questions now. And like I said, the panelists are free to take questions that the audience have asked also. And these are some of the questions that were already asked, and I would ask the panelists to answer the questions quickly because we've got a lot of questions. And for some scary reason, every time we have the show, time seems to accelerate. Okay, so we're already at like 45 minutes into the show. So the first question that's Ganes is from Dr. Raghunathan. And he's saying that how do you integrate people at the company floor level? Interesting. When you talk about company floor level, sounds like it's a manufacturing setup, right? With new technologies and processes that require digital transformation. You're on mute still.
Sorry. Okay, to answer to that question, we must first understand the concept. See, the task of digital transformation itself is both technological and managerial. Many reports on digital transition and industrial IoT are primarily concerned with technology, but they do not talk about negative effects of the weak organizational alignment as a result. And as a result, they are underestimating the negative consequences of poor organization alignment. All right. So to dive into the problem, you must understand that any enterprises mistakenly assume that digital transformation itself is like about process of improvement with efficiency, operational improvements, adoption of new technologies, and working with the same teams and all that. But I would say that in order for us to go to digital transformation and to see into our current organization whether ready or not for the thing, we need to find we need to follow these simple steps as tips for you guys. We have to define the target customer segments first. Right, and this has to be conveyed to our floor guys. What the solutions of business model with value proposition required? What kind of solution of business model that required? Where, in which level, execution level that are you looking into? Existing channels or new channels and all, and also how action for deployment. Meaning how you're going to do it, training, support, or using a third-party technology to move around. So this all has to be clearly defined. And importantly, you must understand that if you don't get buy-in within your organization, if you don't put in the long-term vision for your organization, then digital transformation, you can have any technology in your organization. But I think you cannot move forward.
Again, it boils down to the people, right? So you must, so people must understand why you're asking them to adopt something or do something differently. Absolutely. Okay, great. So let me move on to a question for Safuan now. And actually, I'm going to combine two questions into one. This was asked by Azhar from Toulouse Digital and Enki from Singapore Enterprise. And really, it's about how can a technology startup leverage the NTIS? And then also, how do you support them after the sandbox period?
Thanks, Karam. You read my thought. I was just saying that because time is so short, but I just find the two questions very interesting.
Yeah.
And I saw because from Enki from Singapore, listening from far away. So I think one of the things that I did not highlight earlier, or I may have highlighted earlier, is just that there's no point of just if the solution leaves the sandbox and dies. Yeah. So I think it's just that how we support is that there is a process of matching as well. We also work with partners, what we call as the Innovation Acceleration Network partners. These are combination of mostly corporates. Yeah. And similar to how we work with the government, trying to help identify the national grand challenges, we also work with partners from corporates to help them identify their corporate grand challenges as well. Yeah. So when you have the solution, we understand what the solution is addressing. So what we try and do, how we try and support our startups after that is we match make with the partners with the right the challenges, the solution and partner. So I think it's always that there must be a reason why, there must be a journey, so which is why we're very particular about the solution that we allow in. It preferably must address either national grand challenges or corporate grand challenges. So a quick way of ensuring that you get a approval is go out there, find the corporate, work with them, understand what is their problem, what is their challenges, similarly with the government as well, and come and apply and say that my solution addresses that. So if you don't know what they are, you can still look up the 10 by 10. It gives you an idea in terms of what are those challenges, what are those areas. But nothing works better than understanding what are your clients' challenges.
Okay, interesting. So that's hopefully that answers the questions from both of them. I'm just going to move on to a question now for Amsyar, and this is from a Muhammad Emri and from Job Grabber. Interesting company name, Job Grabber. So is Malaysia ready? He's asking, right, to embrace IR 4.0 technologies, and I think this second part is a bit hard to answer. How many tech companies are already IR 4.0 ready in Malaysia? So, Amsyar, you want to take this?
I believe that, good question, by the way, in terms of IR 4.0 tech ready, there are many companies in Malaysia already operational, whether foreign companies or domestic, who are already in alignment with what constitutes IR 4.0. In terms of readiness, I believe that, as mentioned previously, we are a country of 30 million people, and our GDP...
sorry, I almost 33. I got to correct that. People keep saying 30, I don't know, but we're almost
3 million people is substantial, correct.
And then if you add the 6 million migrant workers, we're actually almost 40 million. Okay?
So 40 million, so, and of course, in terms of GDP, I'm pretty sure you will correct me also on this one. I believe we are around 400 billion US dollars.
US dollars, yes.
We are quite small in comparison with the other big Asian economic powerhouses like Korea, Japan, and China. However, again, as I've mentioned, we are already, in terms of our tech capabilities, we are out there on international standards, whether we are talking about Serber Dynamic, whether we are talking about Iris or even Aerodyne Group. These are actually tech companies that are on an international level. And for others to follow, I don't think it would take long, especially with the current pandemic, which precipitates other companies to move into the area as well. In fact, the industry is rapidly growing, and the more demand, more revenue it generates, I believe that there will be more companies that will move into this space as well. And there are other ecosystems, infrastructure that stakeholders like governments and others who are also moving in order for us to create more participants. As for the second question, I would say Serber Dynamic would be one company that actually portrays the IR 4.0 aspect. And there are other companies also moving quickly. But I believe for that, there would be one of the companies that make us proud now.
Okay, cool. I think there's quite a number of questions actually on the audience that are almost targeting asking NTIS also. So Safuan. So I'm not sure, Safuan, if you want to take any of those questions. Have you looked at them, or you want me to ask you a question that was already asked before?
Yeah, I think there's plenty of great questions, but just so, because I noticed that we only have 6 minutes left, I just want to make sure that later on we share the link to the sandbox, and also if you can help them to get in touch with me as well, I think we in the interest of time, I'm not be able to take any questions, but if you have any question that you have in mind right now, Karam, do ask me.
Yeah. Okay. So when you say get in touch with you, how you want our moderator to, not I'm the moderator, but the producer to share your email, is it with everyone here?
For those who are asking the questions,
Okay.
For those asking the questions,
So for our show producer, right? So those who ask questions specifically for Safuan, please share his email with them. Okay. I get that. So the previously applied question, and that's only because look, your questions are fantastic, but I think they require, I can just glancing at them, it requires a bit of a depth response from Safuan. And it's right to say that we're running out of time, but he will get you. Oh, fantastic. Extending by 5 minutes. Okay. So we do have a bit more time. That's great. But let me just get to you now, which is actually somebody, Andy Roy is asking, what are the latest updates with the sandbox, especially around blockchain? And I know Dato Sri Karesh mentioned blockchain in his opening remarks also. Can you share, can you update us on that, Safuan?
Sure. I think when we talk about blockchain, is right now, I mentioned earlier, we have about processing, the one that I gone through, they are about 400 plus, close to about 500 application actually. 127 actually has been approved. But the number for blockchain is only about 6 application.
Okay.
So, but we're seeing the shift from traditional financial application to non-finance application as well. Taking into account, what's happening around us right now with COVID, and I feel that, it is definitely a very useful technology, but I would want to make sure that whoever is applying on the blockchain, please make sure in terms of how you want to apply it with, So we do work with MIMOS, we do with Technology Park. They will help assess whether or not your blockchain solution matches in terms of the current problems that you're trying to solve. I would recommend more application regarding blockchain to come in, because I think the application is amazing. You look at managing health records, especially now with COVID. The vaccine distribution as well. In terms of food security, it's I'm just looking at, knowing our innovators, they can come up with a lot of potential application solution for it. And I do want to invite for them to come in. So we got companies like Data 8, Holistic Lab. I think there are more. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I just want to make a shout out to all the companies there that are working on blockchain solution. If you feel that you have you have a ready prototype, do not waste time. Log on to our website, straight away send in our application. Be more than happy. We process 24/7, 365. Non-stop. Every month, approval is we have a meeting on a monthly basis, at least twice a month.
Wow. Okay, cool. So I think for those, I think you made an interesting point also. Like if companies are, you're telling the audience that go and get a potential customer, whether government or the private sector, right? And see and so that your solution can match a problem they have, right? But I think we should also emphasize that the solution must be owned and built by the company, right? You're not using a SAP's HANA platform, right, to solve a customer's problem. So it must be a homegrown solution. That's very important, correct?
Yes. So we have a very thorough rubric as well, in order to help us assess in terms of, is this a me too, whether you're applying other people's solution, whether you're just licensing. But even if you're licensing, but you have the total rights to the licenses, to the product, and you're developing for a real important challenge, we may consider. But it's just the criteria will explain a bit more in terms of the readiness of the solution or the product itself.
Okay, cool. So let me jump to Amsyar again, right? There's a question from Andrew Lowe, and he's actually asking, how do we incentivize businesses to invest in technology when it is more profitable to employ low-wage workers?
That question has been thrown around like many times in the past, because they just don't see the pros and cons. Honestly, it's much cheaper for me to just hire a foreign worker to do a particular menial work than for me to, let's say, purchase a robotics arm or a robotics vehicle to, let's say, spray agricultural paddy field or send food to restaurant guests or patients in hospitals. But of course, we would like to understand that certain technology, there is a need. For example, Japan, they are suffering from old age, not suffering, but they're going through aging.
Experiencing. Which I will soon also.
No, I didn't know this.
Amsyar is young.
It's old age. So by that actually forced them to go into robotics, even more in-depth application of robotics, whether irrespective of which sector. So in Malaysia, we have to understand that in the future, we will also experience some need or problem statements that will occur that we are not facing right now. So it will be cost effective in the long run. That's what people need, because the bottom line for any company is quick profit, and the accountants will see, why am I purchasing, like acquiring a heavy machinery when other companies are not. So some countries who are innovative, Sweden, United States, or Japan, they are already inclining towards that, and now they are the trendsetters for other countries to follow. And for Malaysia, we need to change that mindset in terms of the infrastructure, the support system. Government is there, other stakeholders are there. All the infrastructure, internet connectivity, we're moving into 5G. Internet penetration is excellent. We are also trying to become the hub for cloud in Southeast Asia in general. So at the end of the day, it's just about a mindset. As far as revenue is concerned, in terms of ROI, as everyone is speaking, that will definitely come in, because considering in my field, if we use drones to spray water their crops and to use pesticide, at the long run, it actually will cover the modal to actually purchase those drones. Compared in several years, the returns will come. But it's just a matter of education, I guess, and that's
and people, educating and seeing value. So understood, okay. I think there's actually on our own chat also, there have been on Zoom itself, right? There have been some questions already the audience is asking, and I think Alexander Chin is asking how he can apply for the sandbox, and I think it's been answered. Or someone, if you can just reply and just type an answer as to the link maybe, right, for him. So it's good that Alexander is interested, but I think I'll throw one last question for all of you, and you can answer quickly. And we really apologize. The questions are coming left, right, and center, right? Literally. But this is from Krishnan Raj, right? And he's saying, how do you think regulators and different ministries can help to accelerate the tech adoption? Most of the time, he says effort is required to overcome the restrictions from regulators than formulating the solution itself. So Safuan, obviously you're smiling. This is up your alley. And then if you give a quick answer, then maybe can bring in either Amsyar or Sri Ganesh to answer this, then we're going to bring Prem on to do the wrap up. Okay, go ahead, Safuan.
Okay. Hi, Krishan. I'm not sure should I text him directly to answer because we're trying to address one of the issues is when it comes to innovation, new technology is always regulation. Yeah, it's not because they are just purposely or slow. It's just that because protecting public safety is not easy. And I'm not giving you a political answer or a safe answer, because it is what your job. If the moment when you have a 5 kilogram drone or even a 1 kilogram drone falls and hits your car or head, then we will be blaming the regulators. So I think this is where we need to balance between the need for public safety, but at the same time in terms of economic growth and innovation as well. We work directly very closely with the civil aviation team. Captain Chester and the drone task force has been wonderful. They try to do a lot, and obviously there's a lot at hand as well. We have open discussion, frequent discussion as well, public engagement where public is free to join in and ask the drone task force directly. But there's much to do. When we talk about drones, when we talk about unmanned traffic management, when we talk about beyond visual line of sight, these are a lot of areas. It's not just Malaysia is struggling, other countries are struggling as well. But the good thing is that we can learn from other countries. We are actually in talks with, we have access to the World Economic Forum Drone Innovator Network. That is a global organization that actually engages all the civil aviation authority around the world. So we have access to them. And we're not doing this alone. We do want the public to step up, come and have a chat. We'll have one more either end of May or maybe in July. This discourse with the civil aviation team. The drone task force is always a challenge, but I think together we can work this out.
Okay. I think before I bring on Prem, I think Mohan Menon is asking, when we talk about startups, has it be a new company or can be existing business? It can be an existing company, right? And not just a new business plan to address a business challenge, but it has to be a technology-based business plan. So you can existing business. And then quickly, Muhammad Jafri is asking, are there initiatives from the government for you to learn and train in drone, since drone itself is expensive for youth? Sri Ganesh, do you just want to quickly take this on before we bring Prem on for his closing remarks?
I mean, there are a lot of initiatives by the government, but this is very much industry driven. A lot of noise out there as well on, you must not be confused with drone hobbyist training. We have the commercial drone operation itself to go into the industry. So I think government initiative like they have for retrenched workers under SOXO, they also have training for them to upskill and reskill. And on various other initiatives under HRDF and also Kementerian Belia Sukan, the Sports Ministry and KPT, Education Ministry, on their verticals, they are also adopting this training. So I think it's best that you look into updates under the HRDF website, or you can also contact us directly for us to link you up. There's any other trainings available for drone commercial sectors.
Okay, Sri Ganesh, if you want, because you can answer live, you may send him an email that he can address to quickly if you want. But I forgot, before Prem comes on, Prem, sorry, I got to keep you on standby. Just closing remarks as in the key takeaways for all three panelists, and we'll start with Amsyar first. Amsyar, what is the key takeaway you would wish for the listeners to take away? Then I'll go with you, Safuan, and then Sri Ganesh, you can answer that. So 30 seconds each. Amsyar?
The key takeaway, I guess, from the session is that technology is going to come into our lives, whether we want it or not, and we are pretty much better off if we start sooner rather than later. And the NTIS, thank you very much, is one of that response that is very well needed, Safuan, Dato Sri, and everyone. And of course, for the journalists, of course, Malaysia Kini and also DNA for actually bringing this up to the audience, or for the wider population to actually come in and actually understand this initiative is actually generating momentum so that we get further support. Back to the other panelists.
Thank you. Okay, Safuan, your key takeaway for the audience?
So when we talk about, what as a summing up from today, if you are, you want help in terms of accelerating to commercialize your local innovative product and solution, look no further, go to our website. I just typed the website just now, or you can find it National Technology Innovation Sandbox. Yeah, it's sandbox.gov.my. Yeah, just
easy,
straight there, easy. You have FAQ. If not, the first page itself is straight away application page. Yeah.
Okay, very good, man. Don't waste time. Straight away apply application page. Excellent. I love that. I love the fact that you said you work 24/7, 365. Super important for us private sector people to hear that from government. But really, if you know Safuan doesn't have the DNA of a government person. He's a pure private sector driven guy. So that's the beauty of him, of having him in that role also. So sorry, did I cut you off, Safuan? You wanted to say something?
No. Thanks, Karam. But I feel wrong that I do sleep. Yeah. So when I say 24/7, yeah, I feel that if I don't say that I sleep, you'll be like, oh, liar. I do sleep.
But the urgency is there. Okay, Sri Ganesh, 30 seconds for you on your key takeaway for the audience.
Yeah, I would say what we don't know is as relevant as what we do know. Going digital as requires is today's business landscape is more than review of what your IT team is doing or digital marketing. Is more than that. A holistic view of digital is we all are connected freely and near instantly to people, right? Whereby as leaders, so we building agility in our approach is the key to navigate into this landscape successfully. As leaders, we must ensure that three critical components in our behaviors, which is first, hyper-aware, second, informed decisions, and accurate assessment of data, and execute this fast, right? On the regards to the drone training program, you can always go to drone.edu.my, easy keyword for you to know about commercial drone programs in Malaysia.
Okay, very good.
Drone.edu.my, yeah.
Perfect. And sandbox.gov.my also, right? So very easy to remember. Thank you very much, panelists, for your sharing. I will bring Prem on now for his closing remarks.
Hi, thanks so much. It was a very interesting discussion. I learned a lot about the National IT Sandbox. I think there are really a lot of opportunities there as well in terms of hiring talent and growing talent. I really wish all our participants the best of luck. I think we should take advantage of all these opportunities that we can develop our technology. Definitely, we are moving very quickly into a high-tech economy. And if we don't adapt and change, then we're going to be left behind. Yeah. Once again, so thank you to our sponsors, OFOTech and Magic. Thank you to all our partners, Digital News Asia, Malaysia, Digital News Asia, Startup Malaysia, Kini Events, Malaysia Kini, of course, And thanks for all our audience for joining us. And see you on the next episode of Top in Tech. Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.
Every amazing story begins with a journey. Every grand idea emerges with a person. Every great future starts with a vision. A vision of endless possibilities, abundant opportunities, and solid foundations. A vision of the future, where technologies of tomorrow enable the communities today. A vision of the future, where technology and innovation impacts economies, increases efficiencies, improves communities, enriches lives. We aim for growth to create a better nation. All it takes, one person, one vision. In motion together. And it starts with your vision, our future.
In this era of disruption, digital is a reality of our life. You got to read more.
The telehealth services, so for the patients to be connected to doctors, Owen Kementerian Kesihatan, for the doctors to then consult and offer a referral for the patient to perform a test if required.
You know, so if you had that level of trust already with your team members, then it's easier for you to say, okay, now that I can't see you on a daily basis, how do we then operate?
These are actual challenges of adopting cloud. It's not about the trust anymore. It's about our infrastructure, our connectivity. Are they stable and fast enough to support the business and also the consumers to continue to adopt more cloud services?
Talented individuals with in-demand skill in any sector now realize that they can live, they choose and work where they qualify. And talent is the new global currency.